Welcome back to the Coffee Chat Podcast. My name is Aaron. I'm going to be your host today. Hold on tight because today we're going on a ride. So today for our guest, we have a good friend of mine. He is the host. I don't know if you can find out who this is. If you don't watch TV, you probably won't know this. But he's a host for Su Vida. He is also an actor, news personality. He does a lot of commercials. He has a podcast himself as well called Not Famous. We're going to be talking about that. He's passionate about biking. He has a show called Sazon. And his family is also pretty involved with this acting thing that he does as well. So if you haven't guessed it, today on our show, we have a guest, and his name is J.R. Cárdenas.
Correct.
Got it right?
Yes.
Welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good. That's probably the best intro I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I made it up.
Oh, I like it. You forgot to add that I played soccer for 4 years, and I also was an international, ¿cómo se dice, stripper, where I would strip cars for a living.
Oh, there you got me. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I'm happy to be here.
I've been up since 3, I heard.
I've been up since very early this morning. Very early.
Doing what? So they know who you are.
So normally I'm either doing commercials or I'm producing commercials.
Okay.
Or I'm hosting a TV show, or I'm, trying an idea that's probably going to fail. People don't know that 90% of my ideas have failed. That 10% that actually succeeds, everybody thinks, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Pero no miran, how many times I fail. Is this in Spanish or in English?
This is English.
Oh, it's English, okay. So they don't see how they don't see how I failed 90% of the time. But
Really?
I don't really brag about that part.
That's good. So we always start and ask everybody, what's your go-to drink? What do you drink? What keeps you up?
So I'm a huge coffee fan. Obviously, before you and I became friends, I was a coffee fan of colados. I like straight drip. Just give me some straight black coffee. Bitter. No sugar, no creamer.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So for those who don't know you, can you share a little bit about your story, what you do, who you are, how you came about acting?
So I was born in Fresno, California. My parents are Mexican. My dad's an American. He became an American citizen. And one time, a Mexican man said, hey, if your dad became an American citizen, it's very hard to become an American citizen, so call him an American. And I respect that. I do respect that,
Yeah.
I was born here, so I don't know how hard it is to become American. So my dad's an American. My mom is Mexican. And we grew up with both languages at home, English and Spanish. When I was 18, I left home. I wanted to be a chef. I still do, except I'm too old to go back to school. And at 18, I couldn't afford it. They said it's going to be so much money to become a chef. So that kind of went down the drain. And I did the second best option, which was work in radio. And I jumped into radio. And soon after radio, I landed a TV show. Became the #1 show on the weekends. And in 2006, I left Spanish media, went into English, and kind of did that for a long time. Su Vida came about when one of my friends said, hey, we need a Hispanic host to be with Vanessa Ramirez, which is another good friend of mine. And since 2011, we've been together on that show. And we've seen it go from a little show to a national show. And it's great. She's one of my really, really good friends. She's good friends with my wife. Obviously, she's a very beautiful girl. And she's got a great sense of humor, which is the best part, because she's really, really funny. And then with that show, I met more people, and then we did more shows. So in there somewhere, we've done a million different projects. And like I said before, 9 out of 10 have failed. Cocinamos con Sazón actually was one of those shows that made it. And it was an idea that I wanted to cook, because I've always wanted to be a chef. And I invite chefs to teach me how to do food, and I cook food that I know how to make. So
that's good. And that's how we met, through the Su Vida, right? They did a little show where Colados came out. You guys rebroadcasted it recently, right?
Yeah.
I saw it, doing all the, trying to figure out your bio and stuff like that. So it came out again.
Yeah, they're re-airing it.
Yeah, and once I saw him there, like, he was joking like crazy. Like, I remember that day you two were just joking around. Like, are they actually serious about this? Like, are they just playing around? Like, how serious is this?
They should make a show after the show because
Right?
that was the fun part.
The behind the scenes,
Yeah.
I think is way better than the actual show.
Yeah.
But he came back
I
a
did.
couple of days ago, and just like nothing, he was like, "Hey, man," I just started talking, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. You guys got a nice setup. I love coffee. I love the fact that it's independently owned and operated. It's family owned. You got a great story, and the coffee's great. I'm sweating because I'm hot, but I wanted hot coffee.
Wow.
That's probably a bad idea, huh?
There's a lot of people like that. I just talking to somebody right now. They're like, "Oh, the best is a hot chai in the summer." I'm like,
Yeah.
"You really gotta love that stuff. You gotta be a fan."
I'm getting dehydrated here. Just thinking about
Somebody
it.
gets some. So, talk a little bit about. I know your family's also really involved with acting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, is that something like you force them to do, or like they actually want to?
No, my kids, they don't get forced to do whatever they want. They are signed because they like to do it. I can't speak for them. If they want to do it, they could do it. Obviously, I'm going to help them with everything I know, guide them. And my wife, she's a good-looking girl, so she did it all on her own. I had no say in anything.
She passed you now.
Oh, she's a lot more famous than I am. See, that's why I'm not famous, and she is famous.
What's up with that? I know you have a podcast as well. It's called Not Famous, and you're always posting like something about not famous. Where does that come from?
And I'm 40 years old, Aaron, so it's different now. It used to be, I want to be famous. And once I got a taste of fame, I was like, I'd rather be rich.
Really?
The fame, it wasn't all its attitude.
Why?
Because you get on a stage and everybody's screaming at you, and then they want your phone number, your photos, your autograph. And then you go into a hotel room and then you're all alone.
Wow.
And it's a hard balance to maintain, you know what I mean? It's like you get a rush out of it. It's you being up there, being on stage, people saying hi. To this day, if somebody comes up and asks for a picture, it's great, it's awesome. And then I go home and my wife's like, "Hey, did you pick up dog poop from the backyard? Did you?"
You're not famous at home.
They don't care. My daughter said, everybody says it's a say on TV, and I was like, "Yeah, how do you feel about it?" "Oh, whatever. Well, you're just dad."
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I know. You understand?
Yeah, I don't want to be famous. So you also have a show, cooking show. Is that where it comes from your passion of cooking?
Yeah, dude. It relaxes me. There's a couple of things that de-stress me: cooking, cycling, and drinking. But I don't drink
Coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, coffee I do drink. But when I cook and I get a creation, it's not so much a satisfaction of me cooking a good carne asada taco. It's me feeding it to somebody and they're like, "Dude, this is amazing. What'd you put? What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, I drugged it," something like that. But it's the creation that I make and somebody liking it. Obviously, I've made some stuff and they're like, "Wow, this is horrible." But I learned from that mistake.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, exactly. But yeah, it's the creation of cooking. I love cooking. I love making a new dish, trying a dessert. When I was a kid and I was working legal jobs, not picking squash when I was underage, but I worked at a kitchen for a retirement home, and I learned how to make like lemon meringue pies and pastries, and just watching the old people there eating the food, and they're like, "This is amazing,"
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And one of the guys told me, we're old. We lose our taste. Because,
So I can't taste anything. He's like,
but this is really good. And I was like, thank you. So
yeah, I feel that the same way when we're making coffees in here and you're just pouring out your heart and you just see somebody like, "Oh my gosh," like that's probably the best. Yeah, that's when you pour your passion and somebody like enjoys it, like that's the best pleasure you can find.
That's the rush.
And something that I really like about you is how you stay humble. You're super open, like the way that you opened up to me when we met. And then after that, I didn't know you were that famous here in the Valley. Like I see you in the chiropractic commercials. You're on like Desert Financial. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention all these.
You shouldn't mention any of them.
No,
but,
okay.
But let me
We'll
tell
cut that
everybody. I do get a message from, if that's the camera, I got a message from Aaron once where he said he preferred the duck instead of me on the commercial.
We joke around.
I blocked him for 2 weeks from my Instagram.
He posted it. A lot of people agreed.
It's the truth.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, dude, it's not. It is. It's a great thing. I do like to cherish my success. I do like to work on my success. But me getting to a point where I am today, it was hard. It was difficult. And there's a lot of people that want to get to that position. And I'm getting older. I don't know. Maybe right now I go home and I die. I'd rather show somebody how to do it so they can continue doing this because it's a great art. Acting is a great art. Dialecting is a great art. Cooking is a great art. Being humble is a great art. You have to. There is a talent in knowing you don't have a talent, but when you know you have a talent and you could pass it on, that's the best thing.
Oh yeah.
I love going and speaking to kids and be like, "Hey, listen, I grew up in an alcoholic home. My parents were alcoholics. My dad did drugs. You don't have to be like that. you can make good decisions. Have faith, believe in yourself, love yourself, respect yourself, and you can get wherever you want. Dreams are only a reality with time. If you focus and you aim at that target, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. My uncle used to always say in Spanish, and I'll translate it in English because this is an English podcast. He would always say, "Preguntando se llega a China." Right? This is my uncle who had no education. And I never understood it until I got older. I was like, it's true, man. You just ask. And when somebody asked me, hey, how do you do this? Oh, cool. I'll tell you like this. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And that next person can get to China. What he would always say is, hey, you can get to China by asking directions. If somebody was to ask me, how do I get on TV? I'm going to tell them exactly how to do it. Because nobody did it for me. And it was hard. It was hard. There was a lot of doors that were shut. There was a lot of people that kind of looked down on me. A lot of people that said, hey, you're never going to make it. And I messed up in a way of saying, okay, I'm gonna take that and prove you wrong. I should have done it where I proved myself right. There might have been a lot more satisfaction to it, but it is what it is. If there's an opportunity for me to help somebody, I'm gonna do it. Why not? Yeah. Why not? You're never gonna hear about it from me. They might say it, but that's just the way I believe things should be done. If you're gonna help somebody, there's no need for me to take a picture. Like, hey, listen, I was on Aaron's podcast and I made him famous. No, there's no way for that. There's no reason for that.
What would be your advice for somebody who does want to come into TV or acting? What's one of the lessons that you've learned that can help somebody out?
Prepare yourself. A lot of people always tell me, how'd you make it in news without education? I learned the business. If I could go back and I was able to afford it, or if I would have been smart enough to be smart in school and paid attention and gotten a scholarship, I would have done it that way. But I didn't, man. I had siblings to take care of. I had to be the man of the house many of the times. So I had to work. If you have an opportunity, if you're young, if you're going to go into high school and you have an opportunity to start from scratch, from freshman year and on, man, pay attention. Just do the work. Get that scholarship. So when you go to college, you shave 10 years of work. I would have been a lot more successful if I would have gone to school for 4 years instead of working for 10 years. Yes, a lot of people are like, you don't need to go to school. Just go to school, get the education, because you can lose everything in life. You can lose your car, your house, your girlfriend. You know about that. But you can never lose your education.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that's going to make everybody difference. And the more educated you are, the further you're going to get, because there's that self-esteem thing. Like, hey, I'm educated. Yeah. Like, I've got a degree.
You think everybody needs that self-esteem?
Everybody needs that self-esteem. But there's those exceptions of people that don't. Like my wife, she went to ASU. She's an ASU graduate. She always tells me, listen, you're that one exception. You're that one exception that did not go to school and you became successful.
That's funny.
But I love to meet those exceptions. You know what I mean? Other than that, if like I told you, it takes a talent to know you don't have the talent. If you don't have the talent, educate yourself. Yeah. Because there's not just the area of being in front of the camera. Yeah. There's the power of being behind the camera, which is where I'm heading, behind the camera, because I'm too old and too fat now. But it's like, just educate yourself. You'll get a lot further, a lot faster. Wow. That's the advice that I want to tell those people. It's like, and then ask the people that have been in the business for a while, hey, how do I make myself better? Humble people will tell you how to do it. Yeah. Stuck-up people will probably say, you have no shot. But.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, I went to school as well for business, and I was told, don't do it. It was a waste of money. I'm still paying for it, but it does help to, to have something behind that you can say, okay, I accomplished something, even just to do it. Like, I finish and I still get degrees, but I finish it and I got done through it all. So
it took you 7 years to graduate from college?
Actually 5. It took more than it should. 4, it's supposed to be 4, but it took me 5. But
okay, but let's say tomorrow you get an opportunity to go to work. You and I go and apply for the same position. Yeah. Okay, I'm 40 years old. I've got a ton of experience. How old are you?
24.
You're 24 years old, but you've got a degree. Who do you think is going to get the job first?
You.
No.
Because you're more good looking.
Not for business.
You got it.
Not for business. They're going to go after you because you've got the education. And you know what you're going to do. Me, I still have to learn, even though I have some experience. But they're going to go for the education first. I'd have to come under you and then obviously kick you out of your position and then take your role.
But with the whole Trump thing saying now that degrees aren't as important now, do you think that is going to change in the future? Where degrees aren't going to be required, and
I see it. I see his point, but doctors need a degree.
Oh yeah,
engineers need a degree. You know what I'm saying? Business people in the stock market, they need a degree because they need to learn about that.
Right.
They need to learn about how business works and how it goes up and down. Realtors, they need to get that education to become realtors. There's a security when you have education. I understand his point. I do.
Yeah.
Again, I'm one of the exceptions. But you will save yourself a lot of time if you get that degree and go out there.
Yeah.
Here's the unfortunate situation is it goes the other way. Okay, I went to a school called, I'm not going to say the name, but I went to a school where it was a quick school, 18 months, and then you became a professional.
For what?
Okay? For radio and television. When I graduated, they gave me a certificate, and I argued with the instructor. I said, this looks, and in very bad language, I said, this looks like you went and you bought it at Staples. And he said, it's your diploma.
I did.
Yeah, they did. It's your diploma. You know, honor it. It's your diploma, man. Be proud. I went to college, and I said, I want to continue my broadcasting degree. And the woman held my hand, and she said, sweetheart, that was not an accredited college. You have to start from scratch.
Oh man.
And I drove home to Mesa where I lived, and I ripped that certificate.
Dang.
And I cried because I just spent $18,000 on an unaccredited college. So I see his point. I mean, going back, I probably shouldn't have gone to school. I could have just gone into radio just by asking for directions.
Yeah.
But I think it actually did help me a lot. It opened some of those doors that I needed to be opened.
Yeah.
So
I think it goes both ways. Like looking at my father, like he didn't go, to any college or anything like that. But like, I think you work harder when you don't have the education. So like your mind is like, I got to work twice as hard to accomplish it. And it might take longer, but sometimes that's part of your process. That's part of your story. And you work harder because it's not that easy, and you gotta prove yourself sometimes. So
everybody loves a success story. Everybody, and that's what everybody tells me. You got a great story. Your parents were alcoholics. You were set up to fail, and you didn't. Well, another thing I got to tell you, Aaron, is success is determined by one's being. Like, I don't determine myself successful. I don't think I'm successful. Do I live better than I did when I was with my parents? Yeah. Do I live better than my parents did at my age? Yes. However, I feel like I still got a long way to go. As long as I'm living, I'm gonna still keep trying to make it to be the Mexican Brad Pitt.
That's your goal?
That's never going to happen.
You need a lot of more surgery for that.
But I'm going to try, Aaron. I'm going to try.
That's going to be another 9 out of 10.
Bradley?
The Spanish version. Yeah. That's awesome. And what projects do you have coming up? I know you're working on a ton of stuff. You got podcast commercials. Like, what's in the future? What ideas do you have?
The month of August is going to be packed with work. We've got tons of work. I mean, I told my wife, July was good. I was just talking to your dad, by the way. Your dad, very handsome man, Bernie.
Yeah, that's where I get it from.
No, you don't. Is you sure that's your dad?
Yeah.
Because he's handsome.
Yeah,
I know. What happened? Worked. It probably skips a generation.
I don't know. Well, I guess that's what happened. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So the month of July, I was telling your dad, we've been busy. We've been shooting our stuff from home. My wife has 2 TV shows. She shoots both of them from home. I have my TV shows. I shoot both of them from home. And I have a voiceover studio that I do everything from home. So we've been fairly busy. But this next month coming up, from August through December, you're going to get...
novela or what?
Maria, ¿por qué? No, you're going to see a lot of us. And it's going to be, we're just getting booked left and right.
I've been seeing you everywhere, man. You're on.
You watch too much
flyers,
TV.
Posters.
You should probably.
From your page. I don't watch TV.
You should probably stop going on social media because they're all over social media too.
Yeah, I know they are. That's awesome.
So you're the guy that spikes up my profile visits.
Yep, that's me. Every day I check it. We shot a commercial recently, years, maybe a year or two. How long was it? With my cousin Vladimir. I don't know if you have seen it.
Yeah, what do you think about the commercial?
It was great.
It's a good commercial.
To see behind the scenes. I walk in there. Guy, he's a prankster, man. I walk in there with my girlfriend, all confident. They have like all the gears, the red cameras, like 20 people on cast, makeup artists, like models and everything. And I'm on there like, oh, this is cool. And who was it?
My assistant director.
Your assistant director tells me like, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, wait. And I couldn't find JR. Like, where's JR?
Are you a customer?
Yeah, you're a customer? I was like, no, I can't. He's like, if you're not part of the cast or part of this, you have to leave. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I felt like the dumbest guy ever. And then JR pops out like, oh! Man, I need to get you back from that still.
You did?
Did I?
did. Yes, you did. Like your sister did bad coffee or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's true. That,
remember.
I need a lot more than that.
Yeah, that was a horrible prank. Yeah,
But
no, that so
the commercial was a success, I think.
I wrote something for. I wrote again a project. It hasn't been. We haven't done anything with it. It's written and it's gonna. Hopefully, we'll get it in time. But I wrote a show and I wrote it with your cousin with Vladimir. It was Vladi, right?
Yeah.
Is it Vladi or Vladimir?
Vladimir.
With Vladi, him as the star because he was easy to direct.
Yeah.
He was funny.
Oh, he loves that stuff.
And anything I wanted him to do, he did. And he was great. He's a great actor.
He is.
So I wrote something, hoping we can get this project going, funded, and he's the star of it. So I don't know, though, because every time I make people stars, they stop talking to me.
Really?
Yeah. There's a few singers out there that used to beg me to be on the show when I had my show on Univision, and now they're huge.
And then I'll talk to you. They don't remember you?
They remember.
It'd be like that sometimes.
They remember, but they don't want me to come around because obviously I bring up stuff from the past, you know. Or they're like, "Don't treat me those things." I'm like, no.
I see how it is.
Yeah.
Where did your passion for biking come from?
Because I was really fat when I got married.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Yeah, you get really fat.
Get
and
a bike.
You start liking bicycling. No, when I was on TV, I was young. I was single. I had an opportunity to go to the gym. I had time. I wasn't like in super good shape, but I was in a lot better shape than I am today. Well, in like 2006, I got married and I got comfortable and I gained weight, like 236 pounds. It was. I remember seeing the scales. It was 236 pounds, and I was like. And my agent and I had a conversation. She says, "Honey, nobody's booking you because everybody likes Latinos on TV, but when you're fat, you're just a fat dude on TV. Nobody likes that."
Like that?
She just basically told me you got to lose weight. So it was my neighbor. He's like a guy. He's a black guy, like super muscular dude. His name is Ramon Hicks. He's in Austin, Texas now, but he's like, "We need to ride a bike." And he gave me a bike.
Nice.
And I started riding a bike. And I remember coming home and telling my wife, I rode 6 miles. And she's like, "Oh," my wife's like,
"Good for you."
People Nancy Pelosi like this. And so I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I jumped from mountain biking to road cycling, and it turned into 11 miles.
Wow.
It turned into 20 miles, 60 miles. But I really like the wind in my hair, the people you get to meet, the views, the fauna. I mean, you see everything. And what really, really motivated me more was when people was like, "Damn, you lost some weight." And I was like, "Well, why didn't you ever tell me I was fat?"
I see how it is.
But it's maintained my weight at a certain level.
Yeah.
However, then you get more into it. You get into the technology part of it, the frames and all the engineering that goes into it.
Yeah.
And you become just a big fan of the bike industry. And that's what it is. I'm a fan of cycling and the athletes because I climb mountains. I know how hard it is on a bike. So, I'm a huge cycling fan.
That's awesome.
Anytime I get an opportunity to put somebody on a bike, I will.
Yeah, well, I need to get on there because I see the views and all that you're posting, and it looks phenomenal. But I'm going to disappear if I get on a bike, losing all that weight. I don't need it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
And that's the wrap.
Damn, show's over.
All right, Gerald, where can people find you, man? Or do you want me to find you? 'Cause, I mean, they already know where you're at. It's on TV. Turn on the TV and you're going to come out.
No, well, I mean, you can go on Instagram. It's j.r.cardenas. On Facebook, just go at Cárdenas JR, and I'm on there. And on Twitter, it's JR Cárdenas TV.
Nice.
So just JR Cárdenas TV.
I love it, man. One takeaway from what you said today, looking for a title. I'm always thinking about a title for all these. Don't be famous is one option I want you to pick. Or option 2, ask for directions.
Definitely ask for directions.
Yeah,
I think
like that.
I think it's the only way that I can tell you what you see. Perception is reality. Whatever you only see what I put up on social media. Obviously, because you and I are friends, you see a lot more. But if you really want to get to whatever you want to be president. Like you could definitely be president these days. But I mean, if you want to be, whatever you want to be. Listen, if somebody else can make it, they've got the same 24 hours a day. They work just as hard, and you can make it too.
So good.
And if you need a little help, just ask for directions.
Exactly.
Don't be the typical machista. It's like, I know where I'm going, and then you're lost.
Yep.
You're lost.
Or just GPS it.
See, that's the problem with technology. That's what problem with kids today.
Yeah. There's no GPS for your goals.
No, there is no GPS.
There's not. That's awesome. You have to make your way.
There is no shortcut either. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to go the same way.
Every shortcut is a trap.
let me end it real quick with an example. Is, my TV career started fairly easy. I auditioned, and the next week I got the job for a TV show, and it skyrocketed. That show had no ratings, and it went 276% increase within a matter of weeks. So I was on top of the world, man. I was on top of the world, but I didn't treasure it. I didn't value it. I didn't honor it. It was just too easy.
Yeah.
When I got fired from TV, from Spanish television, some guy told me, "Listen, you're talented, dude. It's ridiculous. You're super talented. It's the attitude. You're that worm that's gonna ruin my apple." And I hit rock bottom after that. I was depressed, and I was just like, wow. And if I would have worked a little harder for it, I think I would have treasured that opportunity a lot more. So definitely, there is no shortcut, and take the long way. You'll treasure it a lot more. The shortcut, you'll be another.
The easy way is a trap.
It is, man. It was horrible. It was a learning experience that I try to tell people, don't do that. Don't do that. So
thank you, man. I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate the friendship we have, and you're just down to earth, man. It's always great to talk to you. You're always so open to help out. You lended me a whole bunch of lights and stuff that I kept for like a year, and you never came back to it. I still have it, I think. Oh no, I gave it back to you, right? No, I think I gave it back to you.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Yeah.
But I mean, this is the type of relationship we have. You're a great guy, and I appreciate you for your time, for being on here, and wish you the best.
Well, thank you very much. Anytime you guys want to kill some time and be back on your podcast, then let's do this, man.
For sure, man.
I want to ask you something. How come I don't get like discount coffee when I buy so much?
It's half off right now, man.
All right.
It was discounted. It was free.
I'll be right back. I'll see you guys later.
Well, there you have it, man. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on the podcast. Hasta luego. He's gone. That's who he is. See you guys. Thank you.